Eleanor had just been discharged from the hospital when she accidentally saw my wedding footage with my wife. Instead, it showed her daughter being intimate with her male boss, causing her condition to immediately relapse. I quickly told my wife to come home, but she coldly said, "I'm sleeping at the office, don't bother me." Before she hung up, a man's magnetic voice came through, "Baby, don't interrupt me, I can't hold back anymore." Today was our 3rd wedding anniversary for Chloe and me, and also Eleanor's discharge day from the hospital. I woke up early, went to the grocery store to buy the jumbo shrimp Chloe liked, and killed a chicken to make Sarah slow-cooked chicken soup. After helping Sarah sit on the couch, I hurried to make dinner. But I didn't know that Sarah, when I wasn't looking, found our wedding footage and started playing it on the TV. Perhaps the photographer had left the camera on the table and forgotten to press pause. Right in front of the lens was the scene of my wife, Chloe, and her male boss, Gerald, kissing. Chloe leaned into Gerald's arms, moaned softly with emotion, while Gerald kissed her, his hand roaming freely over her body, from top to bottom. I was busy in the kitchen when I heard a bang, and quickly ran out to check. I saw Sarah lying on the floor, breathing rapidly. I turned my head and saw the seductive scene on the TV, instantly understanding what had happened. I turned off the TV, helped Sarah to the couch, took out the heart medication I always carried, and gave it to her. The medicine that usually worked quickly seemed to have no effect at all. I was frantic, and after dialing emergency services, I called Chloe again and again. Finally, after being hung up on more than a dozen times, Chloe impatiently answered the phone, and before I could even speak, she cursed loudly. "Ethan, can you stop bothering me? I'm busy." I suppressed my anxiety and pain, telling her, "Sarah had an accident, her condition is very bad, come back quickly." She cursed mercilessly, "You jinx, all you do is cause me trouble. How could Sarah be sick right after being discharged from the hospital? I'm not lying to you, please hurry." "Enough. Don't think I don't know what you are thinking. Using such a clumsy excuse to trick me into coming home, even wishing Mom dead, just to make me spend our anniversary with you. If I hadn't married a pathetic loser like you, would I still be working overtime at the office right now?" From the other end of the line, a magnetic male voice came through, "Baby, don't interrupt me, let's continue, I can't hold back anymore." The man's voice was loud, as if he intentionally wanted me to hear him. Chloe inadvertently moaned softly. Then her tone became disgusted, "That's enough. I'm busy. Don't bother me." The phone was abruptly hung up. Chloe's lie collapsed. She wasn't working overtime at all, but was meeting another man. But didn't care, because she knew I would forgive her everything. Sarah gripped my hand tightly, her face pale, muttering, "Ethan, I'm so sorry. Don't say that. Everything I did was my own choice. It has nothing to do with you." By the time the ambulance arrived, Sarah's condition was critical. I squeezed her hand tightly, my body trembling, my heart in my throat, praying for a miracle. As we were about to reach the hospital, she lay beside me and took her last breath. She leaned into my ear and whispered her last words, "For the rest of your life, I want you to live for yourself." Chloe's phone was still unreachable. My eyes were bloodshot, and I felt completely lost, numbly boarding the hearse. At the funeral home, I personally wheeled Sarah into the cremation chamber. The mother who had been laughing and talking with me that morning was now just a lonely small urn in front of me. On the way back, the car suddenly slammed on its brakes. I instinctively shielded the urn in my arms, but my head hit the glass hard, and the thick smell of blood assaulted me. "How the hell do you drive? Do you know how much this sports car costs? It could buy 10 of your cars. This is such bad luck. It's a hearse, just as unlucky as that dead man." Outside the car window, Chloe and a man got out of a red sports car, their eyes full of disgust. "Are you okay, young master?" They were speeding and changed lanes illegally, without even using their turn signal. "Wait, I'm going to get out and talk to them," the driver said indignantly. I stopped him, covering my wound, and got out of the car. Chloe's mouth twitched when she saw someone was injured. But when she saw it was me, She burst into laughter, looking at me with sarcasm. I wondered why today felt so unlucky. Turns out I ran into you. Didn't you say Sarah was sick? Sarah's sick and you still have the mind to work. I worked at the funeral home, and Chloe always looked down on me, because of it, calling me bad luck, a jinx. Gerald, you are hurt. Are you okay? Chloe's face changed dramatically when she saw a small cut on Gerald's arm. She glared at me viciously. Are you blind? How are you driving? The blood from my head kept flowing, but Chloe ignored it, her face full of concern for the other man. My heart instantly sank. I'm fine, Chloe. This luxury sedan cost several million. I'm afraid if we sold your husband, he couldn't even pay it off. For your sake, just let him get on his knees and beg for forgiveness, and this matter will be over. Gerald held Chloe in one arm, his eyes full of sarcasm. Mr. Gerald told you to kneel, didn't you hear? You pauper, do you want to go to jail? I really don't know why my mother made me marry you. It's disgusting. Chloe looked at Gerald with adoring eyes, while her expression towards me was only deep aversion. Seeing that I didn't react, Chloe walked towards me. Hurry up and kneel to apologize. Do you want me to help you? As she raised her leg to kick me, she finally noticed the urn in my hand. Why are you carrying an urn in broad daylight? So much bad luck. My voice was hoarse and heavy as I spoke. This is Sarah's cremated remains. But she looked at me like I was a lunatic, yelling, Ethan, what are you talking about? How could you curse my mother like that? She raised her hand and slapped me hard, then kicked over the urn. She cursed maliciously, you orphan with no parents, why don't you just die? Your parents died and reincarnated, but my mom won't die. My mom just got out of the hospital and is doing well. She's still waiting for me to divorce you, and marry Gerald, to enjoy a good life with me. She watched the cremated remains scatter in the air, laughing uncontrollably. You dared to lie to me, you deserve it. Go explain it to this family yourself. Of course, it'd be even better if you got fired. I stood there blankly, reaching out to grasp the last remnants of Sarah, but I couldn't hold anything. The pain in my head and face was severe, but it was less than 1,000th of the pain in my heart. My beloved wife, my idealized first love from my youth, had unknowingly transformed into this hateful, terrifying monster before my eyes. Stop wasting words with him, just beat him up first. Gerald grabbed my collar and swung his fist. Stop. Officers, these two were speeding and changing lanes, acting arrogant and hitting someone. Please deal with them. The driver's voice was anxious, followed by a group of traffic police, who quickly subdued Gerald, who was attempting to hurt me. We were driving normally. This dead man rear-ended us for no reason, and then came up to provoke us. What does it have to do with us? Exactly. What if I teach him a lesson? He looks like he's asking for it, and besides, we didn't even hit anyone. Why are you arresting me? Chloe was still helping Gerald distort the facts. The arriving police also grew angry. Quiet down, everyone. The truth isn't whatever you say it is. Everyone, come to the police station for questioning. That year in freshman high school, David and Sarah were in a car accident on the day they picked me up to return to the country. They used their last strength to push me out of the inferno, and both passed away. From that day on, the vast Blackwood family was left with only a hearing-impaired person who had brought death upon his parents, with temporary deafness in his left ear. If I, soft and pampered, hadn't been able to adapt to life abroad, I wouldn't have come back, and David and Sarah wouldn't have died. I transferred schools alone. Being introverted and not liking to talk, I became the target of collective isolation by my classmates. During every PE class break, I would sit alone. The boys would laugh, and called me a dead hearing-impaired person, throwing basketballs at my face one after another. The girls, disliking my gloomy demeanor, would also mock me behind my back. Only would block the flying basketballs for me. She would secretly take out her MP3 player from her pocket, and put one earbud into my right ear, playing inspirational songs. When I couldn't write an essay about my parents, and was silently shedding tears, it was Chloe who wiped away the tears from my eyes. She took me home, pointed to her mother busy in the kitchen, and said, blushing with embarrassment, "I don't have a dad either, but I still have a mom who cares about me. From now on, my mom will be your mom. I think your David and Sarah must be praying in heaven for you to recover quickly." The girl's sincere eyes seemed to sparkle, and that moment of affection stayed with me for 10 years. It brought 10 years later close malicious, soul-crushing curse, "You orphan with no parents, why didn't you die with your parents?" After my wound was bandaged, I was taken to the police station. Chloe squinted at me, her gaze as cold as ice. "Officers, it's all his fault. Just arrest him and let us go." The traffic officer taking the statement pointed to the surveillance footage being replayed, and said gravely, "According to the surveillance, you were speeding and changing lanes without signaling, which caused the accident. So what? We just wanted to avoid that unlucky hearse next to us. That's why we changed lanes. It's all Ethan's fault. Do you know each other?" The police asked. Chloe frowned tightly. "This man is my husband. I suspect he was deliberately stalking me. That's why he rushed forward and crashed into my car, with interference." The traffic officer's eyes flickered with suspicion as he looked at me. The driver was so angry he slammed his hand on the table, pointing at Chloe's nose. "I was the one driving, not young master Ethan. Besides, Ethan's Eleanor just passed away. He had no mind to stalk you. He tried to contact you all night, but you ignored him. He's bleeding from his head from protecting Eleanor's cremated remains. How can you think that of him?" Chloe sneered contemptuously and said coldly, "Old man, how much money did Ethan pay you to lie with him?" She turned to the police. "Officers, I now have reason to suspect these two are deliberately stalking me and trying to crash into me to kill me. I was just changing lanes and speeding in self-defense. I'm not wrong." Gerald also joined in the commotion. "Ethan is paranoid all the time. Chloe and I have a legitimate relationship. I was just taking her home because she was tired from working overtime. Ethan is just getting revenge on us. Officers, this isn't just a simple rear-end collision, this is a criminal case." Seeing the situation escalate, the traffic police contacted the civil police for further investigation. I, who had been silent all this time, pulled out a stack of papers from my pocket. "This is Sarah's death certificate. I had her cremated this morning because I planned to follow her last wish later, to bury her beside her father's gravesite. The collision with Chloe was just a coincidence. I had no idea where she was." My voice was soft, but it landed like a heavy bomb. Chloe snatched the death certificate, her eyes wide with disbelief. "No, this is impossible, absolutely impossible. Sarah wouldn't leave me. You faked all of this to trick me." "Hey." I let out a self-deprecating laugh, meeting Chloe's panicked eyes. "How could I joke about Sarah? My feelings for her are no less than yours." Chloe finally noticed the seriousness in my eyes and muttered, shaking her head madly, "This isn't possible. He's definitely lying to you." "Chloe, don't believe Ethan." Gerald held Chloe in his arms, patting her shoulder to comfort her. At that moment, they looked like a picture-perfect couple, and I was the devil spouting lies to break them apart. An officer rushed in and said to another police officer, "Ethan did indeed just come from the cremation site. There's no evidence of him stalking Chloe. Last night, Ethan's Eleanor had a heart attack relapse, and passed away before she even made it to the hospital." As soon as the police spoke, Chloe's face changed dramatically, and she completely lost it. "You were all lying to me. How could Sarah?" Chloe screamed hysterically. She rushed forward and grabbed my collar, her eyes almost insane. "Tell me, this isn't true. It's all your fault, Ethan. You useless thing. Why couldn't you save my mom? Why?" I looked at her, my throat moved. "Where were you when I called you? Sarah couldn't hold on, and you were still meeting another man, weren't you?" "Enough." Chloe interrupted me. "You forced me to this, Ethan. You couldn't give me the life I wanted. Even if I was cheating, I did nothing wrong. If you weren't so incompetent, my mom wouldn't have died. I hate you. I'll never forgive you in this life." She looked at me as if I were her enemy, raised her hand, and tried to hit me again. In an instant, I suddenly felt released. How many years had I endured for a woman like this? I didn't want to endure it anymore. She had changed. and she wasn't worth it. I grabbed her hand, a bone-chilling coldness in my eyes. Chloe, you know what you did. Sarah accidentally saw the evidence of your cheating at the wedding, and that's why her condition relapsed. She was infuriated by you. You are the one who killed her. Chloe's face instantly turned pale. She hadn't expected me to resist, nor had she expected that Sarah had been killed by her own actions. Her body trembled uncontrollably, her legs went weak, and she almost lost her balance, muttering, "No, Sarah wasn't killed by me. It was you. Where did you hide my mom? Give her back to me." My eyes narrowed slightly, a cruel smile playing on my lips, as I said to Chloe, word by word, "Didn't you yourself step all over Sarah's cremated remains? Have you forgotten?" Chloe's mind collapsed. She knelt on the ground, her gaze unfocused, tears streaming down her face. "I'm sorry, Sarah, your daughter failed you." Looking at Chloe's desperate and heartbroken appearance, I felt no sense of satisfaction, only pity. I turned to leave, but Chloe knelt and hugged my leg. "Did leave any last words for me?" I took a deep breath, my expression dim, looking down at the disheveled Chloe. "No. Not even a word, not even a single letter." Chloe cried even harder. Only one sentence: she hoped I would live for myself. "So, Chloe, let's get a divorce." I shook Chloe off and turned to leave. "You were joking, right?" Her tear-filled face showed disbelief. "Ethan, we've known each other for 10 years. I don't believe you can let me go. So what if I cheated? Haven't you always forgiven me? You've changed. Have you found another woman outside? Don't leave, say something." Chloe tried to stand up to stop me, but lost her balance and fell heavily to the ground. Gerald went to help Chloe, but she pushed him away. Chloe roared, "Ethan, if you leave today, don't ever come back for the rest of your life." I glanced at her indifferently, without hesitation or reluctance, and left. Behind me, only Chloe's sobs remained. I gave a self-deprecating laugh. "Chloe, when I truly wanted to let you go, why did you regret it?" "I didn't go home. I went to Blackwood." The gloomy lights were on in the silent old mansion. Alfred, the old butler, spotted me standing at the entrance, his face beaming with joy. "Young, you are finally home." I nodded and smiled, embracing him. After a brief exchange of pleasantries, I went upstairs to David and Sarah's room. The room was spotless, and a photo of our family of 3 from 10 years ago still sat on the bedside table. Tears, unconsciously, dripped onto the photo frame. "David, Sarah, I'm sorry. I thought Chloe was my salvation, my reason for living. But I was wrong, terribly wrong. I had been running away, escaping the fact that you died because of me." Chloe had always been disgusted with me working at the funeral home. Little did she know that all the funeral businesses in Starling City belonged to my family. Even though Alfred repeatedly urged me to return, after graduating from college, I still gave up taking over the family business, and became an ordinary employee at the funeral home, because I wanted to guard David and Sarah's mausoleum, and atone for my sins for the rest of my life. But all I got in return was Chloe's cruel disdain and betrayal. I fell asleep, leaning against the pillow in my dream. David and Sarah's gentle faces seemed to reappear before my eyes. They softly stroked my cheek, their eyes full of my heart ached as they said, "You've worked hard, son. David and Sarah don't blame you. We only blame ourselves for not being able to stay with you longer." When I woke up, tears had soaked the entire pillow. The space beside me was empty. I wiped away the tears from my eyes. Yes, I was once David and Sarah's pride. This time, I must pull myself together and find the brave person I once was. I left the Blackwood. As I was leaving, I told Alfred, "Alfred, I'll be back to take over Blackwood. Please clean my room." Alfred repeatedly agreed, his voice so excited it was a little choked up. I drove back to the home Chloe and I shared. I closed the front door, the living room was completely dark. Chloe sat alone on the couch, her eyes filled with deep hatred as she looked at me. "You have the nerve to come back. Didn't I tell you never to come back? What, you realized you were wrong, and came back to apologize and repent? I didn't respond, just quietly went into the room to pack my clothes. Chloe wouldn't let up, cursing at me. Are you running away from home? You didn't come home all night. Does that mean you really have another woman outside? Then she sneered. How could anyone like a jinx like you, who deals with dead people every day? Don't get scammed. I dropped my clothes, holding back my anger. If you despise me so much, why did you get together with me in the first place? Chloe said indifferently. My father died early, and I was raised by Sarah, so I listened to her the most. Otherwise, you were the most gloomy and neurotic in class, and hearing impaired. How could I have liked you? It's all Sarah's fault for being too kind, pitying you for being orphaned, wanting to take you in, and sacrificing my lifetime's happiness for it. Then I'll give you your happiness back now. My eyes red. I threw the divorce papers in front of her. Chloe trembled with anger after seeing them, pointing at me. Sarah just passed away, and you are already divorcing me. Are you even human? You really do have someone else outside. You are shameless. I laughed in exasperation, scoffing. So what if I do? Does it concern you? I already knew about you and Gerald 3 years ago, when we got married. Because I loved you, I endured being cheated on for 3 whole years. He has a wife and children, and you still went after him. Remember this, I'm the one who doesn't want you anymore. Chloe habitually raised her hand again. My gaze turned cold, and I fiercely grabbed her wrist. She cried out in pain. I stared straight at her, warning her not to act rashly. I was no longer the fool she used to manipulate. Chloe's arrogant demeanor diminished considerably, her voice noticeably lacking confidence. What could I do? Sarah was in poor health, and the heart medication was expensive. How could your pathetic salary support Sarah and me? Gerald donated so much money for Sarah. If I didn't give him some benefits, why would he be willing to help me? Soon, her voice grew louder and louder. In today's society, money is everything, money talks, morals don't matter. I did it for Sarah, for our home. I was shocked by her statement. Was this truly the Chloe I once loved so deeply? From an innocent facade to a money-obsessed opportunist. Seeing my silence, Chloe grew more agitated. It's all because you are poor, otherwise, I could wear gold and silver and be a wealthy man's wife. So that's what you've always pursued. I understand now. Then you've forever lost that qualification. Leaving that statement, I only took a few photos of Sarah and left. I never wanted to look at Chloe again. 3 years ago, on the day Sarah was critically ill, I told her I could afford her medical expenses. She didn't believe me and mocked me, saying I was talking big. Later, a kind person anonymously donated a large sum of money to Sarah. Gerald then stepped forward and claimed he was the one who made the donation. That's when the two of them started their affair. On our wedding night, Chloe didn't come home. I accidentally opened the footage and stumbled upon her affair with Gerald, my heart shattering into countless pieces. I confessed everything to Chloe, but she didn't believe it, even laughing, and asking if I'd watched too much TV, calling it delusional. It turned out she only loved money, and marrying me was just to fulfill her ailing mother's wish. Since that was the case, I would make sure she lost what she wanted most. I moved back into the Blackwood and announced that I was officially taking over Blackwood. In addition to dominating the entire funeral industry in Starling City, the company had also been developing in other industries in recent years. The momentum was strong, and it had offended many competitors. But that wasn't the most serious problem at the moment. Before this, my cousin Derek had been the top executive of the company. Now that I was back, he would definitely try to deal with me. As expected, Alfred told me gravely, Mr. Derek has recently laid off a large number of long-time employees. Now, nearly half of the board of directors are his people. In the past, I had no interest in the business, and even considered handing the company over to my cousin. But now it was different. The holdings was a gift from David and Sarah, and I would never let anyone take it from me. As I pondered, a person flashed through my mind. Miss Scarlett, the eldest daughter of the Prescott family. At the same time, my phone rang. It was an unknown number. A woman's voice was silky smooth, yet tinged with a seductive intoxication. "Hello, is this Mr. Blackwood? I think you need me now." At an upscale restaurant in Starling City, Scarlett arrived late. She was wearing a red gown, her fair, long legs occasionally glimpsed as the skirt swayed. Her eyebrows were like distant mountains, her eyes tilted upwards, her lips were rosy, and a faint smile played on her mouth. She was like a red rose blooming freely in the dark night. True to her name, she was beautiful and alluring. And extremely dangerous. "Sorry I'm late, Mr. Blackwood. I value our meeting very much, which is why I was delayed." "It's fine, Ms. Scarlett. I have plenty of time, I can wait." When we shook hands, her fingertips brushed my palm unintentionally. Scarlett gently swirled her wineglass, her smile cunning. "Take a look. I went to a lot of trouble to get this." She produced a bag of documents and placed it on the table. After reviewing them, I put the documents down and scrutinized her. "Tell me, what do you want?" Scarlett smiled. She reached out, her fingertips lightly tracing my Adam's apple. "I want you." I chuckled, then burst out laughing. It was the happiest I had laughed since leaving Chloe. "Miss Scarlett, you don't still think I'm a child, do you?" "Let me guess, Miss Scarlett is currently competing with her own brother for the inheritance of the Prescott family. However, Mr. Prescott is biased and has transferred a large portion of the shares to his son. So, Miss Scarlett's situation is currently the same as mine, isolated and without support." Scarlett, whose thoughts I had guessed, wasn't annoyed. Her crimson lips parted. "Mr. Blackwood is indeed smart. I thought your IQ had dropped after being blinded by love." A gleam flashed in her eyes. "I want you to fund me to take over the Prescott family. I have people but no money, and you have money but no people. Isn't that a perfect match?" Scarlett was a dangerous woman, and difficult to read. No one knew if she would turn on me. After all, the Blackwood and Prescott families had been competitors for years. But now, cooperating with her was my best option. "All right, I trust you." Scarlett didn't expect me to answer so readily. Surprised, she quickly broke into a charming smile. After dinner, she invited me for drinks at a bar. I rejected it without a second thought. She was a dominant force, and an ambitious huntress. I couldn't afford to get involved with a woman like that. The documents Scarlett gave me listed the weaknesses of all the directors in Derek's faction one by one. Some involved tax evasion, misappropriation of funds, or selling trade secrets. Others involved having another woman or cheating. Big and small combined, they were enough to ruin a person's reputation and status. The more I read, the more terrified I became, feeling lucky that I wasn't Scarlett's enemy. I also wondered why she would cooperate with me. Although we had known each other since childhood, we hadn't had much interaction. Could it be that her ambition was the entire Blackwood? With's help, I removed the people around my cousin Derek. He lost his real power and was kicked off the board. I quickly established myself at Blackwood, becoming the decisive Mr. Blackwood among the employees. Not long after, Scarlett appeared with an invoice. She wanted me to fund her new company, a considerable sum of money. I transferred the money without blinking, though my heart was bleeding. Her eyes tilted slightly upwards as she said with a smile, "Don't worry, I won't just take your money. You'll have 20% of the shares." Looking at Scarlett's alluring demeanor, I gave an awkward laugh. "Whatever Scarlett says. If there's nothing else, I have work to do." A hint of displeasure crossed her face. She naturally linked her arm through mine and whispered in my ear, "Ethan, to celebrate our successful cooperation, come with me somewhere." I tried to pull away, but her grip tightened. She smiled and gritted her teeth. "Don't you dare try to avoid me." I thought Miss Scarlett was taking me to some flashy, high-end place. But it turned out she was taking me swimming. And I was just standing there watching her swim. Her posture was light and graceful, her slender form shimmering in the water. Her long hair spread out in the water, like a black flower blooming underwater. This was a private pool, very quiet. I watched Scarlett in the pool, and unconsciously, I became lost in thought. Scarlett took off her goggles and waved at me. "What are you spacing out for? Go get me a robe." I nodded awkwardly and hurried out. Carelessly, I bumped into someone. Excuse me, before I could finish, Chloe's sarcastic voice cut in. Oh, what are you doing here? Do you also think working at a funeral home is embarrassing? So you came to this upscale pool club to be a server? Chloe was lightly dressed in a sexy bikini, a look of disdain on her face. Gerald, with his ample frame, held Chloe tightly around the waist. We were in our divorce cooling-off period. It seemed she didn't even care to pretend anymore. Gerald pointed a finger at my nose, his expression arrogant. You, come in here, scrub my back. Seeing me not move, he raised his voice. The owner here is my brother. Do you believe I can get you fired with just a word? Guest, hello, this is Ms. Scarlett's robe. A male server appeared and respectfully handed it to me. I didn't want to deal with them. I picked up the robe and left. Chloe's face changed. She snatched the robe from my hand. You're a guest here too. Who brought you here? Oh, Ethan, we are not even divorced yet. Are you in such a hurry to find someone new? Looks like you found a rich woman. She threw the robe on the ground and stomped on it repeatedly. This robe is a limited edition, very expensive. You know, Tilda. Scarlett appeared out of nowhere. Gerald's eyes were fixed on her. Chloe looked at Scarlett with vigilance and disgust. How expensive can a shabby robe be? Besides, no matter how expensive, Gerald will compensate you. You two paupers, so petty. Then she patted Gerald's shoulder and said, acting cute, right, Gerald? Gerald stroked Chloe's behind, giving a lewd, evil smile. Of course, my dear, whatever you say. Perhaps their appearance was too comical. Scarlett chuckled. She snapped her fingers. A server beside her stepped forward. Ms. Scarlett's robe is a custom limited edition. The material is silk, but the most expensive part is the diamonds embedded around it, valued at over $1 million. He took out the tablet he carried and showed the price list to Gerald. The price is clearly marked, plain to see. Where does extortion come from? Sir, WhatsApp or Venmo? Gerald's previously arrogant face instantly froze. You must be trying to trick me. Just you wait, I'll call Robert out here, and have him call the police on you, you con artist. Scarlett made a, please, gesture. Soon, the Robert whom Gerald had mentioned arrived, muttering, let's see, who dares cause trouble on my turf? It's this woman. Robert followed Gerald's pointing finger, and in an instant, his arrogant expression completely collapsed. He quickly lowered his head. Miss Scarlett, I'm truly sorry for disturbing your rest. Gerald was confused. What's going on, Rob? Robert slapped Gerald's hand away, large beads of sweat rolling down his forehead. This is the eldest daughter of the Prescott family, and also the major owner of this pool club, Miss Scarlett. Gerald instinctively took a few steps back the moment he heard the name. You are that powerful, Scarlett, really? Of course, it's true. Hurry up and apologize to Ms. Scarlett. Otherwise, you'll pay dearly. Chloe said sourly. So, Ethan, you've really found a rich woman, huh? Does she know that you deal with dead people every day, and that you are a pathetic loser who can't even keep his own wife? Say less. Gerald pressed down on Chloe's waist, changing his previous domineering attitude, pulling her with him to apologize to Scarlett. Chloe wouldn't give up. It seems your ex-wife doesn't really know her ex-husband, does she? Ethan was the one who bought this pool club. He's the real owner. He's the CEO of Blackwood. He's much richer than I am. You were with him for so long, didn't you know? When spoke, the entire place was in an uproar. Especially, he was too stunned to speak. He looked at me trembling, swallowing hard. As a businessman, he couldn't have not heard of the Blackwood name in Starling City. Ethan. Him. Chloe laughed, about to mock me again, but when she saw Gerald's tense face, she instantly realized this was no joke. The man she had looked down on for 10 years, the husband she had cheated on for 3 years. He was actually a super rich heir. She stared at me, her face pale. How is this possible? Maliciously damaging another's property, if the amount is significant, can lead to up to 7 years in jail. If you don't want to go to jail, just pay up. With that, I couldn't stand the farce anymore. I took Scarlett's hand and left. At the locker room door, I let go of Scarlett's hand. Are you angry? Seeing my silence, she spoke first. I scoffed. Ms. Scarlett certainly has good methods. How did you just happen to choose a place where my ex-wife and her lover were? Why did you investigate me? My gaze was scrutinizing. Scarlett chuckled and walked towards me. Of course, it was to test you, to see if you were still blinded by love. To be honest, your performance just now wasn't very good. I was speechless. When did my affairs become yours to manage? Her smile deepened as she closed in step by step. I thought it, so I did it. What about it? A fire inexplicably flared within me. What exactly do you want? Blackwood? Or are you just playing with me? Her ample body pressed close to mine, emanating a subtle fragrance. She whispered, to be honest, half of my ambition is you. A captivating light flickered in her eyes, and strands of her hair brushed my cheek. I pushed her away and frantically fled. My ears were burning. Scarlett, oh Scarlett. Whether you were joking or genuinely serious, I had to admit, you were an extremely dangerous temptress. The next day, just as dawn was breaking, Alfred informed me that a guest had arrived. I thought it was Scarlett and intended to send her away. Going downstairs, I saw Chloe. Uncharacteristically, she wore a white dress and sat gracefully on the couch. When she saw me, a faint smile appeared on her face. She looked as she had 10 years ago. The innocent facade of purity and kindness. I was slightly stunned. Chloe's smile grew more confident. Don't you hate wearing white the most? What, now you are willing to cater to my tastes? I sat at the other end of the couch. Chloe certainly heard the sarcasm in my voice. She didn't get angry, instead, she smiled even more ingratiatingly. Her tone was aggrieved. How could you be so cruel? You've been lying to me since high school, hiding your identity. Did you ever love me? She quickly moved towards me. I stood up, my expression cold. I never deliberately hid anything. It's just that you wouldn't believe it, wouldn't believe that a pathetic loser like me could be so rich. Chloe's mouth twitched, but she maintained her feigned elegance. I know I was wrong now. Will you come back to me? Tears welled in her eyes, her sincerity palpable. I scoffed dismissively, enough with this act. Once the time limit is up, we'll automatically be divorced. Stop wasting my time, get out. She tried to reach out and touch me again. I flung her hand away and roared, if you don't leave, I'll have you carried out. Security. Seeing that I was serious, Chloe dropped her act. How dare you kick me out? We are not divorced yet. I own half of your family's assets. Give me the money. I curved my lips into a knowing smile. Finally getting to the point, are we? This whole charade was just for one thing, wasn't it? Money. I pulled out the cash from my wallet, and threw stacks of it onto her face. You only giving me this much. I want half of your money. Greed shone in Chloe's hideous expression. I laid my cards on the table. All of the Blackwood family's money is prenuptial assets. You won't get a single cent. Chloe's face looked as if it had been struck by lightning. Soon after, she reverted to her initial fawning demeanor. We've known each other for 10 years, married for 3. You know you love me, you can't bear to lose me. Let's make up, okay? I promise I'll cut ties with those people, and only focus on you from now on. Ethan. Ha, absolutely not. At my words, Chloe's face fell. She squatted on the ground, grumbling as she picked up the cash I had thrown. I scoffed, a cruel smile forming on my lips. If you strip naked and walk around outside right now, I'll give you a sum of money. You don't deserve to wear the dress I gave you anymore. Chloe's face froze, then she gritted her teeth. You promise? She, who had always cared most about her reputation, actually began to take off her dress. The security guards, who had gathered quickly, dispersed at the sight. I watched her coldly, feeling nothing but disgust. I stopped her, taking off my jacket and covering her with it. Put your clothes on. I'll transfer the money to your account. Chloe, never appear before me again. Chloe stared at me blankly, tears streaming down her face. She sensed my ruthlessness, left a quiet, I'm sorry, and silently departed. I don't know if she felt even a hint of remorse. But I knew I had completely let go. 10 years of affection, nothing but an illusion, an empty dream. People change, and time inadvertently changes the one you love most. Since she had already moved on, I could let her go too. From then on, I dedicated myself more to work. Scarlett remained the same, always showing up as an uninvited guest. One day, I finally couldn't help but ask, "Miss Scarlett, aren't you busy? What about your new office? Your coup? Do you need my help?" A flicker of guilt crossed her face. She coughed twice, recovering her composure. "Of course, everything is going smoothly. But accidents always precede surprises. Today, Scarlett uncharacteristically didn't come looking for me. I felt subtly strange, picked up my phone, and received a message from an unknown number. "West Side Suburbs, waiting for you, little brother." A location was attached. My heart sank. After calling the police, I drove to the location. It was an abandoned building, with almost no one around. The moment I got out of the car, with a thud, a blunt blow knocked me down. I blacked out, only feeling someone blindfold me. When I woke up, I was in an unfamiliar basement. It was empty, with cool air blowing in from all sides. In front of me was my cousin, Derek. I smiled. Kidnapping. What an outdated trick. Derek also smiled, then swung his fist hard. My right cheek instantly swelled, and my body staggered a few steps. "Look, who's that?" I looked in the direction he pointed. Scarlett and Chloe were simultaneously tied to two wooden posts. Large snakes were wrapped around each of them, slowly slithering, and emitting low hisses. Scarlett was relatively calm, staring fixedly at Derek, while Chloe's face was pale, nearly scared into unconsciousness. "What do you want? I can give you a chance to return to Blackwood. Let them go." Derek smiled disdainfully. "I've sacrificed so much for Blackwood, yet you kick me out the moment you return. Are you even human? Don't think I don't know what you've been doing in secret? How much money have you transferred overseas all these years? Do you think I don't know?" Derek seemed surprised. "It seems you're not as stupid as I thought. A fool, who abandoned his own family for a woman. How dare you steal everything that belongs to me? Make a choice, Ethan, her or her. As long as I play different tunes, my little darlings will attack different people. The lives of these two women are in your hands." Derek's eyes were full of madness. "Don't believe him, he'll just let us all die here," Scarlett shouted. Derek turned his head, glaring fiercely. "Looks like I'll have to punish you first." He blew a whistle, and the venomous snake coiled around Scarlett tightened its grip. Scarlett's face rapidly flushed, and veins bulged on her neck. "Stop. Don't touch her. Give me time, let me think." Derek stopped, smiling triumphantly. "1 minute should be enough for you to think. Save me, Ethan, I'm your wife. Who else would you save if not me?" Chloe woke up and started wailing. Derek shot her a look, and she instantly fell silent. "I've made up my mind," I said. "I'll save Chloe." As soon as the words left my mouth, Scarlett's eyes instantly dimmed. Chloe's face was triumphant, and she told Derek to quickly let her down. Derek burst into laughter when he heard this. "You really are a pathetic loser. That vile woman cheated on you for years, yet you chose her. What, you just can't change your cheap nature?" I laughed along, tears almost coming to my eyes. Derek roared, "What the hell are you laughing about?" I stopped laughing. "Isn't this the outcome you wanted to see? I'm just playing along with your wishes. Even an idiot can see you won't let any of us three go. Whatever answer I give, it doesn't matter, does it?" Before could reply, with a loud bang, the basement door was violently crashed open, and a group of police officers stormed in like thunder. In just a few seconds, Derek was pinned to the ground, unable to move. Behind and Chloe, professional snake handlers, appeared simultaneously. They used some mysterious incense to successfully lure and capture the two large snakes. At the police station, Derek, who had been arrested, was full of disbelief. He couldn't understand why the police found the kidnapping location, his house, so quickly. He had already smashed my phone. There couldn't have been a tracker. I explained, "You led me to the abandoned building just to throw me off. The most dangerous place is the safest place, Someone as arrogant as you would likely keep them in your own home. Cousin, don't forget you once boasted to me about the large snakes you kept at home. It truly left a deep impression, so I asked the police officers to call snake catchers and medical personnel in advance. And as it turned out, I was right. Derek's eyes were red, and he gritted his teeth. Weren't you afraid? You guessed wrong. I showed a confident smile. Never. After giving my statement, I rushed to the hospital. As I was about to go to Scarlett's hospital room, a hand pulled me back. Chloe, wearing a hospital gown, was pale, and her gaze at me was hesitant. Are you okay? I asked first. I'm fine, thank you for choosing to save me first. I realized she had misunderstood, released her hand, and prepared to leave. She called out to me, Ethan, I'm sorry. I only just realized now that you were the kind person back then. I turned to look at her. Her face was already streaked with tears. This time, I knew she was sincere, truly regretful for her mistakes. Go back and rest. Leaving those words, I no longer looked at her and rushed into Scarlett's hospital room. The doctor said her injuries were more severe. Asphyxiation injuries were often irreversible. As soon as I entered the hospital room, a piercing, earth-shattering wail reached my ears. My sister. My lovely, beautiful, generous, and sexy sister. Please wake up, your little brother can't live without you. Besides hospital bed, a young man knelt, wailing with snot and tears streaming down his face. Snot was almost dripping onto Scarlett's face. I pulled out a tissue and threw it in front of him, telling him to calm down and wipe his nose. The man sorrowfully blew his nose. In my conversation with him, I learned his identity. Scarlett's younger brother, Leo. Leo accused his sister of not coming home for over a month and getting herself injured. Mr. and Mrs. Prescott were so worried they were almost sick. He himself was almost exhausted to death from managing the office this month. As he said this, he cried even harder. I massaged my temples, wondering, what about the sibling rivalry they mentioned? What about borrowing money to reclaim everything that belonged to her? Why was this different from the information I had received? My face darkened, and I told Leo to go outside and cry, not to disturb his sister's rest. A door click sounded, and the hospital room became quiet. Not long after, Scarlett squinted, confirmed no one was around, and calmly opened her eyes. She had woken up just in time to hear her idiot brother confess everything to Ethan. She had no choice but to keep pretending to be asleep. Awake? I asked her. Scarlett looked at me in surprise, then quickly closed her eyes again. Why did you lie to me? Give me an explanation. She sighed, slowly opened her eyes, and blinked at me. She looked a little guilty, yet also a little playful. My vocal cords are damaged. It's a bit of a long story. Will you listen to me tell it slowly? Seeing her adorable and pitiful appearance, more than half of my anger dissipated. I pulled up a chair and sat next to her. I took her somewhat cold hand, and smiled gently. Yes, you tell it slowly, and I'll listen slowly. My cousin, Derek, was sentenced to 9 years for aggravated assault. If he hadn't engaged in those shady dealings, I wouldn't have kicked him out of Blackwood. I knew he was intensely jealous and malicious, so I had always kept tabs on his movements. I just didn't expect him to target Scarlett and Chloe. Oh, I forgot to mention, my current relationship with Scarlett is complicated. Is she sulking? Perhaps it's because that night she told me a story about a secret crush. But I was unmoved. I truly couldn't recall having saved a drowning little girl when I was young. And I even foolishly blurted out, "Are you reading too many romance novels, or have you mistaken me for someone else?" Scarlett rolled her eyes at me, threw a pillow at me, and told me to get out. I thought, do I, a person like this, even deserve love? Especially a girl as wonderful as Scarlett. I couldn't handle her. Since our meeting at the hospital, Chloe seemed to have disappeared without a trace. She didn't bother me again. The next news I heard about her was news of her death. Apparently, when she confronted Gerald, she was accidentally hit in the back of the head during a struggle. She died on the spot. Gerald fled abroad, but was apprehended shortly after I sent someone to handle Chloe's funeral arrangements. But didn't he go to see her? Her end was her own doing, I wouldn't pity her. I took an extended leave, and went to the beach in Hawaii. Lying on a lounge chair on the sand, I leisurely soaked up the sun. Wearing sunglasses, someone took off my sunglasses. Scarlett's graceful figure came into view. She unceremoniously sat on me, and handed me a coconut. Did you come all the way to another country just to avoid me? Here, drink some coconut water. At that moment, I recalled some old memories. When and Sarah and I used to vacation in Hawaii as a child. That ugly Tagalong little girl behind me. She loved drinking coconut water the most. Her little hands, already several shades darker from the sun, held a large coconut and handed it to me. Her voice was sweet and childish. Big, here. Drink some coconut water. She was playful but afraid of water. Accidentally swept into the deep sea by a wave. It was David and I who saved her. My eyes widened. That little girl with a runny nose. Was that you? What a transformation. Scarlett's lips curved upward. Silly, truly, adorably clumsy. She cupped my face, her eyes filled with shyness and determination, and then lightly kissed my lips. Big, long time no see.